Hello everyone, welcome to another video of React.js 19 tutorial series. And in this video, we are going to do some more modifications to the app component where we created a button element, and on click of the button, we used to display or hide a dummy text. And in this video, we are going to replace that dummy text with some meaningful HTML elements. We can have two input elements and a button. So the final output of this tutorial will be having a two input fields and a button element. So to do this, let's first replace it with an input field. So we can give it any name of our choice, but type should be text, right? And name should be anything. Let's say post title. And I want a text to be appear in front of the input. So post title. And to display the next input in new line, let me write a br tag. Okay, now I need post content and another input field. For this also, type should be text. And I can give it a name, let's say post content. So let's see whether this is reflecting into UI. Yes, now we have a post title and a post content, and toggle effect is working as expected. Now if I type something inside these input elements, let's say for post title, if I type anything, it could be, right, let's say this post is about React, right? And in the post content, so I am writing a dummy content inside these input elements. So I now need a button which will be capturing these input values. So whenever someone clicks on that button, it should capture or store these two input values. So to do this, let me add a button element just below these two input elements. So buttons. Now here on click uh, attributes, right? To invoke something on button click, we have to use on click. So we have already seen how to attach event handler into the previous video. So just before this, let me give a name to this button. So we can give something like publish post. So the text will appear into the button on top of the button. Now I'm going to write some function name. So this function is not yet created. I'll be creating it shortly. So on click of the button, this particular function will get invoked. So this will be an arrow function, and we can write a body. For now, I'm just writing a console log just to verify whether this function or the button is working or not. But this button is not yet into the new line. So br, now it should be into a new line, right? So now if I click on the button, it should capture the console log. Let me go to console, and you can see we have an error that on click is not in the camel cases. So these attributes has to be into the camel cases. Now it should work as expected. So on click of the button, we should be getting a console log. Yes, here. So for now, we are just printing the console log. We are not capturing the input values. And to capture the input values, we have to use another hook, which we will see in some upcoming videos. But for now, we can already see here I have done a typo. Let me just correct it. All right, now everything is working as expected. Okay, so now the app component is having some meaningful HTML elements, and also it has a few event handlers to handle the button click. But in real world, there will be lots of HTML elements we have to create. So we cannot write everything into a single React component. We have to separate the logic of creating the UI into multiple React components. So for this example, we can separate creating of these three HTML elements into a separate file. We can create a separate file where we will be returning this particular JSX. So for this, we have to move the event handler also along with this JSX. For that, I'm going to create a React component folder. You can name it anything. Best practice is to write it as components, because other React developers are also following the same naming convention. And I'm going to create a file. So we can name it anything, and extension should be .jsx. And now to create a functional component, I'm using a shortcut called RFC. So I have used an extension, so I can use this particular shortcut. So this is the basic skeleton of a functional component. It has like a function, it has a name, and it returns a JSX. For now, just a dummy JSX. And now I'm going to replace that dummy JSX with these HTML elements. So we can have the separation of the logic. Now just replace it here. And also we have to replace the event handler function also, right? So here I'll just copy and paste it on top of return, right, like this. And to use that newly created component, the first thing we have to import it. And how to import it? Just below this, write import, and we can name it anything. uh, like we have to check if we have used default keyword while exporting it, so we can give it any name. So because we have used the default keyword while exporting the React component, so while importing it, we don't have to use the curly brackets. And here the relative path, and this represents the React component which we created. And to use it, it is very straightforward, like this. Now let's see whether it is working. Refresh and just click on the button, and we can see here every time I click on the button, we can see a console log is getting printed. So now the app component has the responsibility of displaying the title to the UI or the toggles to the UI. And to create a post, we have created a separate component and we have used it inside the app component. So in the upcoming video, we will do further modifications to the app component. Till then, take care, and I will see you in the next one.